whatever you do, don't tell anyone, which is repeated, it can have all sorts of different scenarios, from infidelity to abuse, um, to espionage, to insider trading, um, all sorts of things. Whether the sort of the nature of the secret, and what it's about, but it's a rock track, so it's usually probably about shagging. Um,
There you go, John. You got there.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles, you bugger. My name's John. His name is Andy. Sheriff John Brown always hated me. For what? I don't know. Every time I plant a seed, he said, kill it before it grows. He said, kill them before they grow. More on that later. But first, we have a track to listen to. Andy, what have you got in store for us today?
Well, today we are going to be continuing our journey through the catalog of Queens of the Stone Age. And now at this point, we are on to their sophomore effort. And we're going to be listening to a track, well, you are specifically, and folks that stick around, you'll be hearing it too. A song called The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, which features on that second album I alluded to, Rated R. So, you have everything you need, sir. Please go give this song a spin and come back and let us all know what you've made of it.
Okay. Okay. Really nice start. So you got this guitar and bass going for a jaunty little promenade, arm in arm. It's got a really nice sort of pep to it. Yeah, really groovy. It kind of reminds me of, because you've got this, I don't know what it is. There's some sort of percussive chime at the end of each sort of bar. Ding 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 ding. It's really pleasant as well. Like it kind of reminds me of like the 60s, maybe early 70s sort of film music, where they used that sort of I know something in the family of the xylophone, whatever, and it kind of indicates either sort of sophistication or grooviness or international travel or something. It's kind of like a spy thing, but a light version, sort of Man from Uncle TV series or something like that. Yeah, it's just really nice. And then he's singing. It's almost like in little sort of idioms or whatever. There's little phrases. There's like holding tightly, call on command, leap of faith, do you doubt, cut you in, and I'll just cut you out. Really nice, but it's kind of opaque. Doesn't potentially mean anything, just more mystery in terms of, and it really sums it up with this sort of, the secret don't tell, and whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Oh, that's it really. It could be anything. I'm guessing we might find out, but musically, again, it's really simple, but it's just really sure of itself. Really, really nicely done. Yeah. I'm enjoying this. And then sort of this chorus is ramping in. So let's just go back a bit. Yeah, let's hear it.
Faith, do you doubt? Cut you in, I just cut you out. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone.
Just maybe my ears here, but he's got that sort of that post-grungy that post-grungy pronunciation. It's easy for you to say. On the word don't, it's kind of like doubt almost. Am I just hearing that? Or is that really a thing?
Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Look for reflections in your face. Canine devotion, time can erase. Out on the corner, or locked in your room. I never believe them, and I never assume. Stuck in belief, there is a lie. Promise is promise, an eye for an eye. We've got something
That's nice.
to reveal. No one can know how we feel. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell. I think you already know how far I'd go not to say. You know the art isn't gone. I'm taking my song to the grave. Whatever you do.
Well, that was a bit brief, wasn't it? I really like that sort of guitar karaoke. Could you call it a solo? Very short. It's almost animalistic in its sort of yelps. Um, yeah, really nice. Sod that. Let's listen to that bit again. I don't know, back here somewhere.
Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell.
Just the hints of it start to go a bit crazy at the end there, and they just cut it off. Yeah, this is a really enjoyable song. Yeah, it's got a lovely groove to it. It's quite, in a way, it's quite simple, and I suspect he's kept all of the words fairly opaque so that you can draw your own meaning out of it, or what's it about. And it's basically, it's a secret, so he's not telling you what it's about. It's just clever but simple at the same time. I mean, I was thinking all this, like, whatever you do, don't tell anyone. That could be related to all sorts of stuff, like infidelity, abuse, state secrets, Cold War. I'm thinking Harry Lime here. It's not Harry Lime. But yeah, so it's really great because you can just draw your own story, as it were, onto it. Musically, really great as well. Again, not anything crazy, just really well done, tight as well. Sounded great, all the elements. The drums as well were really restrained, but they added all those extra splashes in the chorus, and it just, yeah, felt really good. No crazy fills or anything. Just good job all around by everyone. Yeah, really enjoyed this. Excellent. Let's find out some more about this song. Let's go back and chop it up with Andy.
All right, John. So you've returned from the Stone Age. What do you make of this track, "The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret"?
Yeah, interesting. This song is at once transparent and opaque. That first line, "Well, I've got a secret I cannot say," pretty much sums it up. And all the rest is propaganda, as Albert Finney would say. So yeah, the song begins with this jaunty little guitar going arm in arm with the bass on a pleasant promenade. And the bars are all punctuated with some percussive chime instrument, some relative in the xylophone family, I think, somewhere around there. And it kind of reminds me of late 60s, possibly early 70s spy film music. We had stuff like that, sort of xylophony type stuff, and it was intended to indicate that it was slightly cosmopolitan, or a touch of sophistication and grooviness, and maybe even a hint of international travel if you got some bongos as well. I mean, it was hilarious. And I think what they used to do is, if it was something a little bit sinister, they would throw in that, what is it called? I think it's called a marxophone, which is like a spine-tingling zither, a ding sort of, but this sort of sound here is, it just reminded me of sort of like Man from U.N.C.L.E., but TV series, not the horrible film. So yeah, overall effect for me at this point is cocktail hour at the Alternative Rock Lounge. And then comes the first verse with it's Josh Homme, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at the mic. I think that this overall, drive, the thrust of the song is something to do with personal relationships, perhaps. But he's speaking in these little phrases and idioms, which, in the words of a famous rapper, talking loud and saying nothing. It could easily be the narrative to a spy thriller, almost. And my mind instantly goes to a Cold War scenario, shot in the German expressionist style. Yes, The Third Man is what I'm thinking, and Harry Lime. But that's clearly just me. It goes along something like, trying to get my chicken scratch here because I didn't. Something about hold up tightly, call on command, leap of faith, do you doubt, cut you in, I just cut you out. Yeah, it's not really saying a lot. It's just putting these like phrases and ideas into the mix. And then we get this chorus, which is, whatever you do, don't tell anyone. And this has this added fuzziness from the guitar. And there's this classic like grunge pronunciation of don't as don't. It's hard to like replicate it, but you only hear it, you know exactly what I mean. And as I'm thinking about this, whatever you do, don't tell anyone, which is repeated, it can have all sorts of different scenarios, from infidelity to abuse, um, to espionage, to insider trading, um, all sorts of things. Whether the sort of the nature of the secret, and what it's about, but it's a rock track, so it's usually probably about shagging. Um,
There you go, John. You got there.
so the second verse, and there's some weird phrases coming in, so I'm quite enjoying all the music. Just something like canine devotion, and locked in your room. Um, we also get some really nice backing vocals, for a line that goes, "Promise is promise, and an eye for an eye." Um, and then at the end of the verses, vocals ramp up on, "No one can know how we feel," um, sort of going into the chorus. Um, we get a second dose of the chorus, and this time it's got extended and added oohs and don'ts and tells. And we sidle across the bridge. And this bridge is quite strange. It has a kind of winding up motion to it, and then has a false stop, and then another winding up motion, which leads into this lovely guitar cameo. I mean, it is a solo of sorts, but it's really short, sadly. But it has a really nice tone to it, this guitar solo, as yeah, superb tone, as it kind of howls and yawps like a animal. Yeah, for sadly all too brief a period.
Yeah.
And then we go back into an extended return of the chorus. And just as we start getting it feels like somebody's left a sparkler inside the fireworks box of guitar pyrotechnics, and they're threatening to fizz ban and escape. And the song ends. Quite. Um, so yeah, overall, this is really enjoyable. It's got a great groove to this. Musically, it's a fairly simple song, but I
Mhm.
think everything was just done really well. Um, I thought the drummer did a great job without going overboard and putting in fills here, there, front and center. Just really disciplined. The guitar, the bass is great. He's got a really good voice, but he didn't go mental on this as well either. So everything is like restrained and just really done well. Um, Really good groove to this. I suspect the message is simple, but you know, a veritable box of all sorts, licorice and otherwise, could be read into this, of what he's talking about. I suspect there's lots of different views on vampires, drugs, and Jesus. But
Um,
but yeah, I really enjoyed this.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. I thought you might. And for the record, and I alluded to this earlier, we've covered this band a couple times now in the past. We will create a playlist that will be linked down below in the comments field. And therefore, a lot of the attention on this episode is going to be devoted to this song and this album, sort of the band during this time period. Uh, but I will say this album and the next are probably my two favorite by the band. Their first album is really good too, but I'm really good. But on any given day, one of these first three albums, but particularly the second and the third, are probably my favorite by these guys. Which isn't to say that their later stuff isn't also great. It is. But yeah, I'm really glad that you enjoyed this tune. I'm wondering, do I give you another one off this next, or do I move to the next album and then just wait till we wrap up and then come back around and start cherry picking from all of the albums as I see fit? But there are that all that is to say or suggest that there are other great tracks on this album that we should check out. So, um, we'll put a pin in that for now, and I'll make a decision at some point in the future. The lineup on this album consisted of, now brace yourself because there's a lot of on this tracks, and as you, I'm sure, are very aware, as you've done a couple episodes too, where you've sort of gone through the liner notes. But the lineup on this album consisted of obviously Josh Homme lead vocals, tracks 1 through 3, 5, 6, and 11. Guitars, tracks 1 through 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 11. Percussion, tracks 3 and 8. Go ahead.
Which track is this one?
This track is the second track featured on the album, so you can keep that in mind as I go through the track listings for everyone's role in any given song here. But yeah, it was the second track overall. The first one, Feel Good Hit of the Summer, is another really, really great track. One of the ones I'm contemplating giving you. So, he also played lead guitar on tracks 4 and 7, backing vocals on tracks 4 and 8, drums on track 4, piano track 10, producer, mixing, and obviously the concept of the album itself. Nick Oliveri played bass tracks 1 through 3 and 5 through 11. Backing vocals tracks 1, 2, 5, 6, and 11. Lead vocals on tracks 4, 7, and 9. Guitar on track 4. Percussion on track 8. And he too was involved in the concept and heavily involved in the art concept of the album. Gene Troutman was featured on drums in tracks 1, 6, 7, and 9. Dan Ketching, electric piano, tracks 1, 2, and 8. Lap steel guitar in tracks 1 and track 11. Guitar in track 6 and 7. The B3 in track 4. Piano in track 5. 12-string guitar in track 10. And then Nick Lucero featured on drums in tracks 2, 3, 5, 8, and 11. Percussions on track 3 and 4. Chris Goss, backing vocals on tracks 4 through 6 and grand piano on track 1. Percussion on track 1, noise piano on track 2, bass on track 4, as well as having a production role. And Mark Lanigan, backing vocals on tracks 4 and 11, and lead vocals on track 8. So, there is the rundown. It was released, this album, Rated R, on June 6th, 2000 by Interscope Records. The album was a critical and commercial success and became the band's breakthrough album, peaking at number 54 in the UK, and it was eventually certified gold by the BPI. 2 singles were released from Rated R, this track, A Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, and Feel Good Hit of the Summer, with the former helping the band reach mainstream popularity. In the US, however, the album did not chart on the Billboard 200, instead peaking at number 16 on the Top Heat Seekers album chart. The album has been described as featuring stoner rock, alternative rock, hard rock, and alternative metal. The album contains numerous references to drugs and alcohol. Rated R features the debut of bassist Nick Oliveri and guest vocalist Mark Lanigan, who both made vocal and songwriting contributions to the band. In addition to providing backing vocals for Autopilot and I Think I Lost My Headache, Lanigan sang lead vocals on In the Fade, a song about clarity following a come down in sobriety, while Oliveri sang Tension Head, a re-recording of the song 13th Floor off Oliveri's Mondo Generator debut album, Cocaine Rodeo. And Quick and to the Pointless, he also featured on, which follows the singer's experiences on heroin and speed and cocaine and meth, respectively. Quite a laundry list, and really, really wholesome stuff. On Quick and to the Pointless, the drums, bass, guitar, and vocal tracks were recorded simultaneously in just one take. Oliveri's vocal performance was originally intended to be a scratch vocal, but the band liked it so much that this original recording remained on the finished song, including the 2 verses in Dutch. So spoiler alert, you got some Dutch verses in that one. One of the few songs not involving drug use in the album was the album's lead single, "The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret," which is a response by Hame to people who had lost his trust, particularly involving trysts. So yeah, shagging. Another one, the acoustic instrumental Lightning Song, was penned by touring keyboardist, second guitarist, and lap steel player Dave Ketching. In an interview with NME, Josh Homme announced plans to reissue Rated R, which would feature B-side recordings and live performances from Reading Festival. It was released on August 3rd of 2010. Added to the original album is a second disc with 6 B-sides and the band's Summer 2000 Reading Festival concert, featuring 9 previously unreleased songs, including live versions of Rated R's Feel Good Hit of the Summer, The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, Better Living Through Chemistry, and Quick and to the Pointless. The B-sides are Ode to Clarissa, You're So Vague, covers of Romeo Void's Never Say Never, and The Kinks' Who'll Be the Next in Line. A live version of the album's Monsters in the Parasol a song originally from Josh Homme's side project, The Desert Session, and a re-recording of Born to Hula, an early song from Caius slash Queens of the Stone Age EP, which I had mentioned in previous episodes, that EP. Um, Rated R is critically acclaimed, and Steve Huey from AllMusic said, R is mellower, trippier, and more arranged than its predecessor, making its point through warm fuzz guitar tones, ethereal harmonies, vibraphones, horns, and even the odd steel drum. That might alienate listeners who have come to expect a crunchier guitar attack, but even though it's not really aggro, R is still a far heavier than the garage punk and grunge that inform much of the record. It's still got the vaunted Arizona desert vibes of Caius, but it evokes a more relaxed, spacious twilight feel, as opposed to a high noon meltdown. Mark Lanigan and Barrett Martin of the Screaming Trees both appear on multiple tracks, and their band's psychedelic grunge, in its warmer, less noisy moments, is actually not a bad point of comparison. Rhapsody called it the best rock album of the decade on its best rock albums of the decade list, an apropos name, and Rolling Stone named it the 82nd best album of the decade. AllMusic and Mojo both scored it a perfect 5 out of 5, while NME and Pitchfork scored it a 9 and 8.6 respectively, while Uncut, Spin, Q, and The Guardian all agreed that it was a 4 out of 5-star effort. The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret was the only single from Rated R to get any chart position, reaching number 21 on the mainstream rock charts, number 36 on the modern rock charts, and number 31 on the UK singles chart. The track is widely regarded as one of the band's best songs. In 2016, Louder Sound ranked the song number 3 on their list of the top 10 greatest Queens of the Stone Age songs, and in 2021, Kerrang ranked the song number 1 on their list of the 20 greatest Queens of the Stone Age songs. So, that's that on the info. Let's get into these lyrics. Well, I've got a secret I cannot say. Blame modern movement to give it away. You've got something that I understand. Hold it tightly, call on command. Leap of faith? Do you doubt? Cut you in, I just cut you out. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Look for reflections in your face. Canine devotion time can't erase. Out on the corner or locked in your room, I never believe them and I never assume. Stuck in belief, there is a lie. Promise is promise, an eye for an eye. We've got something to reveal. No one can know how we feel. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell. I think you already know how far I'd go not to say. You know the art isn't gone, and I'm taking our song to the grave. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell anyone. Whatever you do, don't tell. So, John, there you are. The song Lost Art of Keeping a Secret off their sophomore album, Rated R. I'm glad that you enjoyed it as much as you did, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Guys out there in the listening audience, please give any of the tracks off Rated R a shout below if you are familiar with and a fan of them. Perhaps we will add it to our list of song suggestions for future Friday episodes. That shouldn't interfere with our trek through the Queens of the Stone Age oeuvre. Also, please like, share, and or subscribe if you haven't done any or all of those things at this point. We really do appreciate it. It just takes you a couple clicks and seconds of your time that we will forever be grateful for. And hopefully John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.